Hey guys, this is Rise, and I'm back with Classart for another round of 16 OSL matchup. Back to 2008 OSL. And here we have some big names. We got Stork. You might have heard of him before, the previous OSL champion. That's right, and he's going up against none other than the Smello Yellow himself, Yellow ArnC. Yellow, of course, recently known for not showering much by his teammates and even admitting to it on camera in the OSL or MSL group selection ceremony. I don't remember which. So it must have been the MSL. And they are going to play on Return of the King, which is a not too new of a map, but definitely mostly played in the OSL. Very evenly matched between the two races, PVZ, pretty much 50-50 win rate. And so no favoritism right off the bat, but Godfather, what do you think? Do you think that there's going to be some favoritism to one player over the other here, or are we looking at another even matchup?
Well, if I had to pick one of these two, I would probably pick ArnC. This is a do-or-die matchup for Stork, for the reigning OSL champion. He is in perilous danger of relinquishing his championship because he went down in a closely fought match, and I have to say slightly unfortunately to Bisu, although all credit to Bisu for the way that he played. But Stork did go down, and so he is 0-1 down. ArnC, meanwhile, managed to take down July, and I really don't fancy Stork against July. So if he loses to ArnC, he might be almost humiliated, going 0-3 down. Again, obviously Bisu, July, and ArnC aren't players that it is necessarily humiliating to lose to, but nevertheless, for the reigning OSL champion to go out in the round of 16 0-3, I think there is no other word for that besides humiliation. And looks like we've got a little poster war going on here. I'm not sure what the text says. Pointing to the arrow with the guy with the glasses, it probably says, "You smell just like yellow." And it looks like a 12 hatchery build for ArnC on Return of the King. I'm not sure whether Stork actually is going for a one base build. He's gone for a gateway and extractor straight off the bat. He doesn't look like he's going to be fast expanding, and this I believe is a map with a 4-player map, so a fast expand certainly would have been something that you would have considered a Protoss player probably would have gone for, but we've seen this recently. The other problem for Stork from my point of view is that his recent performance in the Pro League versus Zero, who has something like an 8-12 record versus Protoss as a Zerg player, was hardly inspiring by Stork. So Stork now sending his probot to scout. ArnC also sending a drone out to make up for the scout. Obviously the cross positions I think are probably going to help ArnC with his choice of build in this matchup.
Yeah, and this is going to be definitely favored towards Yellow at this point because it is a pretty large map, and they are like you said, cross position. So he's going to have a lot of time to get some units together before really any harassment can come from Stork, which I would imagine with Stork going for the one base tech build that he is going, he is going to go for some early harassment. But it looks like he's going to get scouted right off the bat, and that drone is going to get in before it can be killed. He is going to scout this. Of course, he never saw the fast expand forge, so he is expecting this before he even got in the base, I guess, but probably a little confused, and he is throwing down a 3rd hatchery as well as potentially making 6 lings with those 3 eggs that were hatching there. I'm not quite sure what he was making yet. We'll have to see what pops out. But he is going to be well prepared for any sort of harassment that can come from the Dino Toss, as we see there, eating a chicken, which I guess is something that Yellow is known to be, a chicken, which is too bad for him. And I'm guessing that is also Stork taking off some glasses. But whatever. Anyway, it looks like a pro was able to take down a drone in that mineral line. I don't know how he managed to do that, but he did catch it off guard. And now we're going to see that single gate tech of Stork going out early to try to harass and do what damage he can. There were lings made, only 2 though, so certainly the ability to pump many more is right at Yellow's fingertips. So he's going to be able to make as many units that it needs to make, and a Corsair coming out from Stork. So Stork is rushing to that tech, and we'll have to see what he decides to go besides Corsairs in this build.
Yeah, meanwhile, Heartless Den going down for ArnC at his natural expo. So now the Zealot and the Dragoon arrived, and ArnC straight away pulling his drones back, realizing he doesn't have enough units to really defend. And this is going to help Stork a little bit, just pushing ArnC's economy back. And ArnC only still with the 2 Zerglings. He's got a couple more Zerglings out now, and he's just trying to amass a few Zerglings in order to try and take Stork down. I think he was also forced to cancel his Heartless Den. So ArnC has found himself a little bit behind. Actually, he's got the Heartless Den up. So Stork now in his base. ArnC now finally feels enough. He's got enough Zerglings. Stork doing a great job microing his Zealots and his Dragoons. ArnC not able to decide who he wants to attack. Really poor play by ArnC. Stork with the one Zealot, the Probe, and the Dragoon doing quite a lot of damage to Yarnak, and now he's got the Corsairs as well, and Yarnak is in no position to defend his Overlords. Yarnak obviously waiting for the hard list to pop out. He's now bringing his Zerglings back out. He's got a group of 6 Zerglings. He still hasn't been able to kill a single unit of Stork, and Stork has killed about 8 Zerglings and not lost a single unit. Brilliant unit micro by Stork, and Yarnak is huge trouble now because Stork has got 4 Zealots and a Dragoon, and this would be absolutely ridiculous if Yarnak manages to lose to 3 Zealots and a Dragoon, but Stork has inflicted serious damage, and now looks like Stork is just about ready to retreat because Yarnak has now pulled out the hard list and is using the drones as a shield against Stork's units, but he's lost a couple of Overlords in the process as well. Stork again managing to keep getting kills on Yarnak's units, and Stork now taking his natural expo down as well. So Yarnak is in huge trouble. Any economic advantage he might have had is gone, and he just wasn't able to produce the units, and the fact that he's been losing his Overlords means that he actually is being forced to fight with a 2 hard list because he's being forced to produce more Overlords before he can produce any units to back those hard lists up. So he's in huge trouble right now. He's finally going to be able to take another of the Zealots down, but he's lost something like 4 to 6 drones on top of all the other units he's lost. Now he's got the Overlord down. Yarnak focusing on the Overlords with his Corsairs and with his Dragoon to try and keep Yellow down and continuing to bring out Zealots, and Yarnak is just being forced to spend money he does not have on Overlords, and he's really in huge trouble here. It looks like Stork might be able to get the vital win that he needed to throw this group wide open.
Wow. Wow is all I can say. I mean, I am impressed by Stork's play. I did not think he was going to be able to do that much damage with that small force. And really, Yellow, I'm surprised that he didn't have more units pumping out of there. He must have been supply blocked early on, or way too close to his supply limit in order to make the lings that he needed to make, or maybe he was just waiting for that Hydralisk Den to pump in so he could just start making some Hydralisks, and he probably thought that Stork wasn't going to be quite so aggressive. I don't know what he was thinking, but really, Stork's showing that one base can be effective, apparently, on this map, and taking out, I think I lost count, 4 or 5 Overlords with just that Goon and a couple of Corsairs. I mean, that is huge damage to do to his Zerg early on, and now he's got his own expansion running, and you got to remember that he has been unharassed this entire time. His economy has not been touched, and now we are going to see DTs coming out of his base as he starts to pump up his infrastructure a bit. He's going to start getting some more units and some more gateways together. And look at that, they're pointing out that Yellow is not mining gas from his main. He's so far behind. He lost a lot of drones there. He's got all of his drones on minerals right now, trying to save up. He put a sunken down. He's put a lot of extra defense up. He's got some links that he's trying to burrow out early to see if he can get all of his scouting information out as well as he can. And look at that. Poor drone saturation at both bases. The main finally starting to look a little bit better. That Corsair getting a great scout. He's going to see exactly what's going on. Stork is now 2 gas strong, and DTs are popping out. So that DT is going to have a tough time doing much damage, I think. But still, Stork doing a great job harassing with those Corsairs. Now, this may be expected by Yellow of Stork to be going for this DT build, and we'll have to see what Stork's able to accomplish. Obviously, he's got a full scout on this base. He knows exactly what's going on, but we're going to have to see if he's able to get it to the main base. If he can get into the main base, I think he'll be able to take out a whole bunch of drones, and if he can do that, this game is as good as his.
Yeah, Yarna, he's obviously going to try and lure the Hydralisk blocking the ramp away, and if he can lure the Hydralisk away with his Corsair, he'll be able to do serious damage with the DT. The only thing that's a little bit curious for me is that he only seems to have the 1 Corsair, and he probably needs a couple more than that to really inflict, and he's doing exactly that. So Yarnak's forced to pull his Hydralisk away from the ramp. He's going to try and take the Corsair down, but meanwhile that DT is going to be in his natural expo, and the Corsair escapes again, and the DT is actually just sitting out. The DT hasn't gone in yet for Stork, but Yarnak is so far behind, and I have to say, Yarnak has not played a very smart game here. He was very overconfident to start out with in his own ability against Stork, and that's why he finds himself now with 6 gateways going down for Stork. Stork is going to be coming in with a massive army, and Yarnak is going to have nothing to stand up to that. He's finally managed to get about 9 Hydralisks out, but he's going to be so far behind in tech that he's not going to be able to do anything. That 1 DT is just going to serve to try and slow Yarnak from maybe getting another expansion on. Yarnak looks like he's going to decide that he needs to push out against Stork, but Stork is going to be coming in with speed loss and high Templar, as well as that DT to back up, and Stork is just going to make mincemeat. Yarnak is too far behind right now. But 2 key mistakes from Yarnak. Firstly, if he wanted to not produce any Zerglings to start with, he should have at least produced a couple of Zerglings and put them outside Stork's ramp so that he would know when Stork was coming and give himself the time. He was just overconfident of his cross-map position, and now he's left his ramp completely undefended. DT going in for Stork. There is a Sunken there with an Overlord waiting, but Stork's base is well defended. Yarnak with the Hydralisk line is not really going to be able to do enough damage here because Stork has got 4 High Templar, probably with full storms, and when those storms come out, again with the speed lots in support, Yarnak's just going to be wiped off the face of this map. map. But yeah, so that was the first mistake. Firstly, that he didn't build any units, and secondly, he didn't scout. So he really didn't see that attack coming from Stork, or maybe he had the one Zergling decent DT trap by Yarnak there, but it's not going to be enough. And really, I think Yarnak has thrown this game away. For all of Stork's brilliant micro, let's not take away any credit from Stork. He had some great micro in that battle against Yarnak, really overwhelmed him. But Yarnak, I have to say, showing a lot of arrogance, and he's going to pay the price for it. Stork's going to punish him, and the OSL champion's going to be right back in it.
Wow, look at that Dragoon with 9 kills on it. That must have been the goon that was taking out all those overlords and drones. I mean, that's a ton of damage to be doing that early. Obviously took out some lings as well, but still, what a great kill amount for one goon early on. Arguably a hero Dragoon. And now he's going to have Zealot speed in the very, very near future. And once he does that, he'll probably be able to just overpower Yellow, because, I mean, he's got, what, 3 or 4 Templar there? 4 Templar. And he hasn't thrown the Storm yet. Even when he was getting attacked, he just used pure Zealot and Goon micro with the aid of his cannons to just completely save up any storms that he might be having. And now he's moving out. And if he's moving out, that means that speed is about to kick in for those Zealots in all likelihood. So as soon as that kicks in, I mean, really, and there it is. It just kicked in right there. And now he's going to get a great surround on those. And, oh, nice Storm. Gets a lot of Hydras in that Storm. And although they were moved out in time, they took a lot of damage. And now those Hydras are very weak, and even if he tries to use them to flank him or go in against the cannons, he won't be able to do any damage because they're only going to take a few hits each to go down. And now look at him sunkening up. He's got 5 sunkens going up, and if he gets there, if Stork manages to get to that base before those sunkens can fully go up, he is going to just rip right through them. And really, Yellow's not going to have much to say about this as Stork just imposes his will on him.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, you don't really expect a player to be able to recover at this level, being so far behind, trying to build lurkers, but he's just so far behind that he just doesn't stand a chance, and Stork will finish this off. And I worry for Yarnak. I have to be honest, I worry for him, because I mean, considering his performance against Stork, okay, I guess this isn't really a good game to judge him on, because he just made a couple of poor decisions early on, but his micro hasn't been impressive against Stork's much superior micro, and I don't really fancy Yarnak against Bisu. But this could be an interesting situation, because July has lost 1 game, Yarnak has lost 1 game, and Stork has lost 1 game, and if Bisu loses to July, we might potentially have a situation where we could have 3 players with 2-1 in this group and needing a tiebreaker. So this group is really living up to its name in its inception so far. But Stork now just closing out the win against Yarnak. And again, good play from Stork, but I don't think he expected to deliver the kind of damage he did early on against Yarnak. And it has to be said, Yarnak has played a poor game of StarCraft here. And this is what I talk about when we talk about all these players who are supposedly great players who have done it in the Pro League time and time again and who have beaten good players. But, you know, it takes something more to actually go all the way through in a Star League and be a champion player. And Yarnak has shown that he still doesn't seem to, at least to my eye, have that special thing yet that is going to put him on the map.
I love how Stork just made me eat my words. I just got finished saying how 1 gate never works in the Pro League. It's just too difficult to pull off. Well, apparently not if your name is Stork and you're the Dino Toss, because really, he pulled that off brilliantly. And again, you're right. I think that Yellow didn't play a great game of StarCraft there either. He had very poor micro, especially when it counted, which was the beginning when he was losing all those drones and lings. And Stork just completely overpowering him in every way possible, mind games, whatever it was. He managed to take this out with not much of a problem. Now Yellow can't even get out of his booth. And so really, I guess the 1 gate tech build certainly is a viable build, but we don't see it as often as we do, and maybe it's just not practiced enough. So maybe Stork got enough practice playing against Zero for him to figure out the bugs in it and really get it to work and pay off winning that match.
Yeah, and what an ironic legacy it would be for the great Bisu to have if the result of his innovation is that modern-day Protoss players don't know how to micro well enough to be able to win with a 1-gate build.
Yeah, that would be good. Anyway, that was a fun round of games we just did there. Hope you guys enjoyed that set. Klazard, any last thoughts on this OSL group before we call it a night?
Yeah, I think that last matchup was great. Even though we haven't seen any really great StarCraft and any really closely competitive games, I think that victory for Stork throws that group wide open, and it's just going to be fascinating to watch how it progresses from here on. And this is definitely going to be a group to watch.
I certainly can't wait to see it myself, and I'm sure everybody else is going to be looking forward to it as well. So we'll try to bring you those games when they come out, and yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy that and have a great night.